Okay, there is no giveaway for this video. I actually already recorded the entire video and I'm putting this at the beginning just because I forgot about it. I'm going to go ahead and roll the 5 egg crate giveaway and I'll pull that up now and I will go ahead and pick the winner. And the winner is Hunt. So I'll give him the egg crates, I'll record it, and I will put it in the next video. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be going over like a beginner tutorial. So it'll be more along the lines of like a progressionary tasks. You don't have to follow it exactly, but it will help you on being able to progress a little bit easier throughout Vanguard in the early game. So I plan to make one for the intermediate and end game, but that's down the line. The first thing is, in the tutorial, you're going to have a choice between 3 prayers. Those 3 prayers being earth, water, and fire. Earth is going to be the easiest, best option. That is going to be the Gaia's Blessing. This is going to give a soul split effect, which is going to heal you as you do damage. The water prayer being EBB and flow. This is going to recoil damage you take as AoE. The Cinder's Touch applies like a burn damage over time. They're all good in their own, but easily early game, really later game too. Gaia's Blessing will help you a lot. But yeah, so I'll go over how you can get the other prayers if you didn't pick the Gaia's Blessing or you want to have the other prayers as well here in a little bit. But the next thing you want to do after you're done with the tutorial is there's actually something which is : extras. So this is going to give you a beginner weapon crate and $10 in bonds. I'll go over what you can do with the $10 in bonds here in just a moment. And with the beginner weapon crate, this is going to help you with getting a piece of gear that's going to help you do a little bit more damage in the early game. As well as the $10 bonds, if you come over to the donation shop, in the armory section of the donation shop, there's these boxes here. So these are the elemental crates, armory crates, whatever you want to call them. So the one that I like to get is the water crate. And the reason for this is because it drops can drop the highest gear that you can get in zones, which is the Azor pieces. Obviously it's rare, but having that chance of getting that is nice. So here I got the Aquarian gloves, which are 225, which aren't bad. This is going to help a lot on early game progression, and compare that to the starter gear of just 25. It's way better. So I actually didn't get my gear from the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab that and we will continue on with the video. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed the rest of the gear from the tutorial. And yeah, so there's a couple things that I want to talk about from the tutorial, and that's going to be the enchanted heart, the rune pouch, the essence pouch, and the slayer skull. With the enchanted heart, this is going to heal you as you take damage. Pretty much you just click it, you eat it, and it heals you. With the rune pouch, it works pretty much like the RuneScape rune pouch. Outside of the RuneScape one, doesn't allow you to hold as many runes. But those runes are going to be used for the necromancy spells, and those are unlocked through the Soulbane minigame, which I've made a video on about already. You can check that out if you'd like. The essence pouch, now this is going to hold all of the essence you get throughout Vanguard, and these essence can come from Slayer, they can come from zones, they can come from boxes, they can come from all over the place. And this is just going to help to clear your inventory. Holding this in your inventory is just going to take up one spot, and it's going to keep you from having just a ton of space taken up whenever you're doing specific tasks. The tier 1 essence is going to be monster, fire, water, earth, and slayer. The monster is going to be, the majority of where you're going to get that is actually going to be zones. So as you salvage gear in zones, you're going to get those. And then the slayer essence obviously is just going to be from normal slayer. And then fire, water, earth, you're going to get those from both zones and slayer. Now, with the tier 2 essence, these are all going to be like the higher level slayer. These are going to be specific to those types of slayer. So in this case, like the Beast Master over here, that is going to give you the Beast Essence. The Corrupt Slayer is the higher level version of regular Slayer. And then Enchanted Essence we'll get into here in a little bit. That's going to be at the Forest. Now with the Slayer Skull, the skull will actually take you to your task as well as back to your master. Once you finish your task, just click the skull. It'll take you to your master. You get a new task. Click the skull again. It'll teleport you to your new task. So the next thing I want to talk about that comes from the tutorial is actually going to be the salts. So with the salts, it tells you to make a potion, but you don't necessarily have to make potions with those. You can just get the salts and hold them in your inventory. And holding them in your inventory actually gives a better boost than making them into a potion. So the damage and drop rate salts are going to give you a 4% boost, and the crit is going to give you a 2%. So if you stack that with the boosts from making the potions, then you're actually going to get a additional 3% for the damage and drop rate and a 2% for the crit. So in total, you'd be getting 7% for both damage and drop rate and a 4% for crit if you combine them both together. Keeping the salts in your inventory, they use a lot. They use as you do hits and as you kill things. So you do use a lot of them, but as long as you stack up and you mine a bunch of them, you'll be fine. The next thing that I want to talk about is actually going to be the : commands. So this is just going to give you kind of like an overview of the commands that you have access to and just help you out a little bit on being able to, know the things that you have access to. The only thing that you're not going to have access to right away is going to be the bank, and I believe it's the POS system as well. Oh, which actually I can. Oh no, I can't because I'm an Iron Man. I believe it's the POS system as well, but those come at the $25 rank, and you can get ranks by just claiming bonds. So you don't actually have to donate. So you can see here the $10 bonds that I claimed from the extras. It counts in my bonds value. So once that gets to 25, it's going to allow me to use Control B, which lets me bank from anywhere. Now, donating obviously will help you on progressing, but for those commands specifically, it's not going to really make it any faster. You're going to get those bonds pretty quickly, just being able to open boxes and things as you progress through your zones and such. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is the actual zones. So with the zones, if you don't know what zones are, the zones are basically just like a list of monsters from beginner all the way down to master. Challenger and infinite haven't been added yet, but they are fairly large list of monsters. But the beginner task is easily the best way to go early on in the game. Completing all of your beginner zones is going to help you a lot. You're going to get a lot of good loot. So like the favor task caskets, the essences, money, some bones to progress your prayer, stuff like that. Now, if you don't know what zones are, these are basically just kill this specific monster so many times, you unlock the next one. So in the case of Nithor, 250 to unlock Tyrion, 550 to unlock Aqualorn, and then 800 Ferna, so on and so forth, all the way down the list. Now, the beginner zones are going to be really quick. Honestly, you can get them done in like an hour. If you're extremely AFK, probably 2 hours. Now, to make zones easier, you don't have to specifically do like the teleport here to where you teleport specifically to that monster. As you kill things, you're going to get these things called dream tickets. And those dream tickets actually can be upgraded into an upgraded version, but these are what the regular dream tickets look like. And then this is the upgraded version. So those are going to make like a specific zone to you. And that zone, it can be a 4x4 or a 6x6. Honestly, go for the 6x6 whenever possible. You're going to get more dream tickets to just make it infinitely just stack on itself. You're never going to run out of dream tickets. The 6x6 is going to be a lot more monsters, and it's going to have a better sense of AoE damage, I guess. So it's going to keep you going a lot longer, a little bit more AFK. But yeah, so the next thing is going to be the starter or progression tasks. So a lot of these are fairly easy, but the harder ones are going to be like the Rift bosses, the Soulbane, things like that. You're going to need help with those. If nobody shows up to the Rift boss for some reason, you're not going to be able to kill those most likely. So you're just not going to be able to get progress towards that. But really all it takes is one Rift, and you should be able to complete the 4 Rift bosses. But as for the Soulbane, you're going to have to join a group running that minigame for you to be able to get those progressed. But the easy ones to do are going to be like the 400 Nithor, the Claim 5 Votes, Mine 10,000 Salt. These are going to just help you get some early stuff to help you with progressing. So like right here, Claim 5 Votes, which you can vote 4 times a day. And I mean, you get $10 more in bonds, then you'd be $5 in bonds off of the first donator rank. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is actually going to be the Crypt Raider minigame. So the Crypt Raider minigame is where you're going to get the prayers and stuff. So basically this is just a room full of monsters. You kill a bunch of them. Usually you kill about 1,000, and then you can go into any of the bosses. So as you kill them, you unlock more kills on those specific bosses. There's 3 different doors. The green door is for the Earth Prayers, which these are the Earth Prayers: Serenity, Rockheart, Geovigor, and Stonehaven. They have different rarities on getting them from the bosses. And then with the Water Prayers, it's going to be Aqua Strike, Riptide, Sea Slicer, Swifttide. And with the Fire Prayers, it's going to be Cinder's Touch, Ember Blast, Infernifly, Blaze Up, and then Inferno. So as you're doing zones, whenever you finish all of your beginner zones, honestly, I would come directly to Crypt Raider. The ones that I would prioritize are going to be, if you don't have it already, Gaia's Blessing, Aqua Strike, Riptide, and then Blaze Up. And the reason for this being is Gaia's Blessing is going to keep you healed. Aqua Strike is going to crit with AoE damage, which obviously you can use Ember Blast, but the exploding AoE damage isn't going to really be as much because you can't combine it with Infernify, which is going to give you more burn stacks. So really, overall, just best option is going to be Aqua Strike. The Riptide is going to increase your weapon speed by 1 tick. Easily good option on just being able to progress through your zones a little bit quicker. And then Blaze Up is just going to give you a little bit more max hit. Now, you can obviously choose Sea Slicer, which is going to give you an additional 2% to crit, but that's a little bit less than the 5% to max hit. I don't know. It's really all in kind of how you want to use your prayers. Everyone does them differently. These are just like a really easy guide to kind of the prayers that a lot of the people use on the server. Now, the next and probably last thing that I want to talk about is actually going to be the forest. Now, in the forest, this is going to be, once you're able to do it, this is basically Slayer. You can come here. You have 10 tasks a day that you can do. Now, these 10 tasks are going to unlock you your pet. And unlocking that pet and leveling up that pet is going to get you bonuses to like drop rate and damage, I believe. And it's just a really good way to help you out on getting a little bit more damage throughout the game. But another thing that is at the it's a new thing at the forest, which if we go to the outer limits here and we run to the left, we will come across the AFK area. Now, the AFK area doesn't have a teleport directly to it yet, which I'm not sure if that's going to be added or what, but it is a short run. So I'll go ahead and explain this real quick and then kind of end off the video. But in this hole here is actually the AFK boss, and then across this little bridge here is the AFK area. So with the AFK area, all you do is click this little orb, and you're going to siphon these tickets. And you have to siphon this 100,000 times to unlock the boss. And then the boss is literally AFK. You just turn on auto retaliate and you can let your account stand there. Now, these tickets can be used for a bunch of really good stuff. So like the potion packs, if you want to get a lot more potions, the boxes of treasures, which can drop a whole bunch of stuff, the tier 2 membership scroll. So if you just strictly keep all of your tickets and unlock the AFK boss, you can get yourself a tier 2 membership, because that'll be 200,000 tickets that you'll get by the time you unlock the boss. And so that's how much the tier 2 membership costs, which is 200,000. So you can get some resource packs. So this will give you a lot of the mining and the wood cutting stuff. One of the really good things that's in here is actually the large XP gem, and this is going to be for upgrading your pet that you get through doing forest. Another good thing in here is the lamp casket. So this is going to give you lamps for leveling up your specific skills. So if you're like a master account like this account is, that'll be really helpful in the time that you're AFK and stuff. You can leave your account here, and then you can buy lamp caskets and pretty much get a little bit of XP from the time that you were AFK. But yeah, so this honestly, it's not going to give you a full guide on how to learn RuneScape, but I think this really is going to help with a lot of the early game stuff and a lot of the questions that some people have on being able to progress really early on. So once you get the hang of the beginner area, the server gets a whole lot easier, and it's a lot easier to understand on upgrading and just progression overall. But yeah, so this is the end of the video, and if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.